Thank you, Senator Wells. Senator Durbin.
Mr. Pritt, you represent plaintiffs in a lawsuit against Meta that alleges copyright infringement of the plaintiff's author's works. Do you have any idea how much Meta as a company is valued?
It's a good question. Many trillions, I believe.
Did Meta compensate any of the copyright owners in your case for the use of their works?
No, but Meta did spend money on contributing its processing power to pirate from illicit websites and also to pay Amazon to host pirated data.
Which, of course, did not inure to the benefit of your plaintiffs.
Certainly not.
How does the downloading and uploading of pirated copyright material impact the analysis of whether a copyright infringement could meet the mens rea requirement or willfulness necessary for criminal infringement?
I would let the professors answer that question. Certainly as to willfulness in the civil copyright context, as the documents Senator Hawley showed, I think the answer is clear that the piracy committed by Meta was knowing and intentional.
Anyone else want to comment on that? Mr. Lee? Dr. Lee?
Yeah, yes, thank you, Senator. The standard of willfulness for criminal copyright infringement requires knowledge that it is illegal to engage in that particular copying. Now, I don't want to relitigate what Judge Chabria has already ruled on, but he was given all of this evidence that was submitted by Mr. Pritt and his colleagues. He saw the comments by engineers, but he also saw comments and analysis by lawyers of Meta, advising them on whether this was permitted or not under fair use law. And Judge Chabria made a determination the crime fraud exception simply didn't apply. And I'm not privy to all of the analysis that Judge Chabria made, but I'm assuming it was based on the question not being resolved, the legal question of whether accessing or copying from a pirated website to serve a highly transformative purpose is the very question raised in the lawsuit. There is no prior precedent that has so held that it is piracy or illegal, let alone criminal infringement to do that. And that is the very question that Judge Chabria ruled on. And to assume that it is piracy is begging the question, with all due respect, it is begging the question that the courts are the appropriate determiners of. And that can be appealed, and I'm sure it will be appealed. But here the question of whether acquiring for a putative fair use purpose is unlawful, Judge Chabria ruled it was not. It was for the fair use purpose of developing the AI model. I believe that is supported by the text of Section 107.
So, Professor Viswanathan, would you like to comment on that?
I would. Thank you so much. The very fact that we're talking about this kind of behavior as to whether or not it's criminal, right? The very fact that we're here talking about willful, knowing, intentional, massive scale training on pirated materials. Let's just step back for a moment from the question of whether it comes under criminal copyright infringement. Does it come under fair use at all? Is this what fair use was developed to be? Fair use, for those of you who don't take my copyright class, sorry about that. Fair use is an affirmative defense. Yes, I infringed, but I did it for a good reason, a societally beneficial reason. All right, maybe creating a world's repository of generative AI companies is that, but it doesn't seem to me that it squares with the other things that we think of as fair use. What's well-established fair use? Education, criticism, commentary, First Amendment purposes that we consider valuable and necessary and that are done in good faith. I educate in good faith. I don't want to have to clear all those copyrights to educate. Okay, great, we allow you to do that. That is not what's going on here. I don't want to relitigate the cases, Professor Lee, but Judge Chabria was clearly distressed by this, and when he raised the possibility, as you rightly say, in dicta, that market dilution might be what's happening, he's saying, look, exactly what the senator was talking about, flooding, what Mr. Baldacci was talking about, flooding the market with subpar works that substitute for the original works. This is not what fair use was intended to achieve or to facilitate. And the very fact that these companies are arguing we're in good faith, we're doing fair use purposes, to me, this shouldn't even be a defense that they're allowed to raise. But okay, they will raise it, and it will be litigated. But boy, it just does not seem consonant with what fair use was ever meant to do.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.